This podcast on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Hamul Casino, San Diego's closest casino. Real close, real friendly, real fun.
This segment of Ben Woods brought to you by the Golf Mart. We'll play Take on Woods here in a couple of minutes. I see people calling in 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for a getaway to Las Vegas. Well, the Boston Red Sox have found their offense at just the perfect time. What is it, 6 straight games now that they had 10-plus hits.
Crazy, man.
Which is a playoff record. 3 grand slams in the past 2 games. Yesterday it was Kyle Schwarber inflating a 2-0 lead to 6-0. And essentially, I mean, how valuable is it to put these games away essentially, in the first 3 innings?
It's massive.
Massive. You're not taxing your bullpen deep. You're forcing the other team to bring in everybody.
The Astros,
I mean, they're not just winning games. They're putting themselves in a better position for the rest of the series.
Oh, no doubt.
With the way they've won these last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, when the Astros lost McCullers, I figure that's probably church for those guys. I mean, they've got some good young talent.
I thought that might make the series more even. I thought the Astros were solid favorites with McCullers. Without him, I thought, all right, I could see the Red Sox keeping close, maybe winning this series. I didn't see this kind of domination that we've witnessed the past 2 days.
Jose Altuve is murdering his team with his defense right now. Just murdering that team, which is so rare for him. He's such a good defensive player. He kills them. He's been killing them. He's made a couple of huge errors early. And, Ben, I think the starters for the Astros, they showed the graphic last night, ERA over 20. I mean, and what does that do? That just murders your bullpen. And you just have to, go to guys that you didn't really want to go to. I thought for one split second last night, it was 9-0, right? I took the over 9.5, which was a lot of fun to be done with that by like the 5th. So it was 9-0. Then they hit 3-run bomb. Kyle Tucker hits the bomb. Then they had a runner on first, and Gurriel's up. And I'm like, if he goes yard here, this is a game. The Astros are back in it. And credit to Eddie Rodriguez. I mean, pitched a really, really solid game last night for the Red Sox. Found an extra couple of miles an hour on his fastball. They said, yeah, he's really sitting 93, 94 all season long. He was in there amped up at 97, 98. Makes all the difference, man. And was spotting up and got in a little trouble, wiggled out of it. I mean, they look like a team possessed right now, which, by the way, if you follow the Red Sox in the postseason, they're a different animal altogether. They always have been.
Let's talk about Eduardo Rodriguez, and I don't want to call it the controversy from last night because it really wasn't. But when he got Carlos Correa out, who had hit the home run and pointed at his wrist, it's my time in Game 1. Rodriguez came off the mound after getting the out to get out of the inning, pointing at his wrist, mimicking the Carlos Correa celebration. And Alex Cora, watching his own pitcher come off the mound back into the dugout, gave a really emphatic shout, like, don't do that. No, don't do, it was a don't do this moment from his own manager after he had just gotten a big out.
Huge out, yeah.
And it felt a little familiar to someone here in San Diego.
I thought
after watching the Padres and Jay Stingler, especially last season, 2020, and the Fernando Tatis Jr. 3-0 Grand Slam in Texas.
Now, Tingler didn't even do that during the game.
No,
right?
not demonstratively.
Not demonstratively. After the game, it was, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with him, and people lost their minds. Is that a double standard? What did everybody in this city say? No, dude, you have your players back, period, always. And you certainly don't dress them down publicly, which is essentially what Alex Cora did. I mean, and again, you saw the dumb comparisons of he's sticking up for his old guys, and Alex Cora's smart. He also knows we don't need to give the Astros any material. We saw how that worked.
I'll be honest, it was my first thought. I dismissed it immediately, but it was my first thought. I'm like, what
he's
is
defending his guy?
Yeah, I was like, oh, what was that?
But the funny part was after he said, well, we don't behave that way, and I'm like, Alex Cora is now the bastion of integrity for Major League Baseball. What planet am I on? right? So, I mean, look, everybody knows he was instrumental in the whole trash can ban. It was his idea, for the love of God. Him and Beltran put this thing together. So he served his suspension. He's back. He's a hell of a manager. There's no doubt. He's a hell of a manager. No one had a problem with him dressing his player down last night. I find that odd.
It's kind of strange that it wasn't even talked about.
Everyone had such strong opinions, about what Tingler did to Tatis. He's a rookie manager,
and the reason you do that, and the reason Jace Tingler, I think, did it originally was trying to diffuse a situation.
Yes.
Like, we don't need to give the other team bulletin board material, et cetera, et cetera. But in this Alex Cora case, it really turned out to be a non-issue because Carlos Correa came after the game and went, "No, I think it's great. I mean, this is baseball. This is fun. I love, give it back to me." And Fernando Tatis Jr. has always been the same way. We saw, who was it that did the stutter step around third?
Oh, Jock Peterson.
Jock Peterson, who's
Tatis loved it.
Obviously a fun player, and Tatis is going, great. This is what baseball is. Get with the program. It's the 2020s. And guys are out there to have some fun and give each other the business. And, there's a little more of that pro wrestling, showmanship to it. And it's not 1977 and, you have to play the game the right way and your head down and you never do anything that shows up the other team. You can do it now. It's different. It's changed. And managers who don't realize that are finding themselves stepping in it, and Alex Cora stepped in it last night.
I thought so too. I really did.
Hey, the bigger story is his team won 12-3. They took a 2-1 lead and are 2 wins away from, an improbable World Series run. Not because the Red Sox aren't a good team, just because I think everyone thought there was probably 5 or 6 better teams, at least in the American League, when this season started than the Red Sox. So if they get all the way, it's a nice story for them, and that was the focus yesterday. Had that happened like in a regular season game, though, I think there would be a lot more scrutiny of Alex Cora today because, it's great they won the game, but is this issue going to cause, problems in the clubhouse? How does Eduardo Rodriguez feel about having his manager do that as he came off the mound? Right now, everyone's focused on the playoffs.
Well, and again, Alex Cora is a very smart baseball man, and he knows that if there's one player over there that you don't want to piss off, it's Carlos Correa. I thought Correa handled it exceptionally. Couldn't have handled it better.
Well, we saw what happened when the Astros got ticked off by Ryan Tepera in the previous season. They came out and just, stomped in, the heads of the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe Alex Cora's going don't wake the sleeping beast now.
I think that's what it was at its core. But again, it was a public kind of and then Eduardo Rodriguez had to go apologize after the game and stuff. Like, no, I'm sorry, we don't behave that way. I'm like, this is like way too familiar. Where is the outcry? But if you asked 100% of Padre fans today, hey, would you like to have Alex Cora as your manager? Everybody would say, yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's the same. He did the same thing, essentially, I feel. There's a bit of a double standard.
Of course.
Am I in here defending Jace Tingler and his actions? No, I'm not. I thought it was wrong when he did it. He apologized for it, and he got over it.
You can do anything you want as long as you're winning.
But yeah,
and you can't do anything right if you're losing.
It's like Buck Showalter said yesterday. Take that kid down into the tunnel and rip him a new one down in the tunnel. And be like, bro, that's not the guy you want to piss off. You know he's going to hit 4 bombs tomorrow off of Pavetta. You know that. And it's going to be your fault. That's what you tell him, but you don't air him out in public, right, in my opinion.
All right, we got some contestants on the line. Let's get to today's game of musical trivia. It is time to take on Woods.
Woods. Woods.
All right, let's go with Eli as our contestant this morning. Eli, are you there?
I'm there.
Welcome. 5 questions of musical trivia. If you can beat or tie Woods, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing of a private VIP pod at the Westgate Superbook, largest sports book in the world, $250 food and beverage credit, and a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Eli, you even get to pick the category. Your choices: Hall of Famers, Cast a Spell, or 90s rap. What's it going to be, Eli?
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers. Oh, that one's been sitting there for quite a while. So Woodsy going to leave the studio, twiddle his thumbs for a few minutes somewhere where he can't hear the program, and you'll get 5 questions having to do with the class of 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees this month. You'll have 60 seconds. We'll start with a 2-second song, clip of a well-known hit by one of those inductees. You need to give me both the title and the artist to score a point. Then we'll go on to the rest of the questions. If you want to pass at any time, we'll come back if there's time remaining on the clock. Eli, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time will start when Polly plays the music for our 2-second song. Good luck, Eli. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
All right, what is the name of Jay-Z's successful 2011 album collaboration with Kanye West?
Watch the Throne.
Correct. Tina Turner's 1971 cover version of which CCR song reached number 4 on the Billboard charts just 2 years later?
Pass.
Which lead singer of the Go-Go's went on to release several solo hits, including Heaven is a Place on Earth?
Pass.
Todd Rundgren is considered one of the world's best guitar players, but which instrument was the subject of one of his biggest hits in 1983?
Drum.
Correct. Let's go back to the 2-second song.
It's Foo Fighters, but what is it? Everlong.
Tina Turner's 1971 cover version of which CCR song reached number 4 on the Billboard charts just 2 years later? Oh, all right. Well, you got 2.5, really. You did know that was the Foo Fighters. That song's called Learn to Fly, though. You got Watch the Throne from Jay-Z, and you got Drum, Bang on the Drum All Day from Todd Rundgren. You missed Proud Mary by Tina Turner, where she's just getting going on that song. And Belinda Carlisle is the name of the Go-Go's lead singer. They're going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Tina Turner, Jay-Z, the Foo Fighters, and Todd Rundgren, all inductees coming up this month. So Woodsy going to come back in. He's going to get the same 5 questions. Hang on there, Eli. We'll see if your score is good enough to hold up today in our category of Hall of Famers. Woodsy, 60 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
Your time starts when Polly plays our 2-second song. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
That is Learn to Fly, the Foo Fighters.
Correct. What is the name of Jay-Z's successful 2011 album collaboration with Kanye West?
That was, oh God, pass. I know.
Tina Turner's 1971 cover version of which CCR song reached number 4 on the Billboard charts just 2 years later?
Rolling on a River.
Incorrect. Which lead singer of the Go-Go's went on to release several solo hits, including
Belinda
Heaven
Carlisle.
is correct. Todd Rundgren is considered one of the world's best guitar players, but which instrument was the subject of one of his biggest hits in 1983?
Crap. The drums.
What is the S? What is the name of Jay-Z's successful 2011 album collaboration with Kanye West?
I love that record. What the hell is it?
So good.
What's it called? That's the one that's got like No Church in the Wild. I love that record. What the hell's it called?
Eli got this one.
I can't remember the name of it. I'm out.
It's one of my favorite albums.
It's Watch the Throne.
Watch the Throne.
But Woodsy by a 3-2 score over Eli.
Was that Todd Rundgren, right?
Yeah.
Drums?
I Want to Bang on the Drum All Day is the subject of his 1983 hits.
God.
You get that was a guess.
That was a full-on.
You know that song.
Yes.
I don't want to work. I just want to bang on the drum all day. Yeah, he's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Go-Go's, Tina Turner, Jay-Z, and Foo Fighters.
I was
all inductees
fully
this
waiting
month.
for Todd Rundgren, because I know he's going into the Hall of Fame, but I was just waiting for the 2-second song of Hello, It's Me. I love that. Terrible song.
Well, it was his 1983 contribution. Hey, Eli, thanks for playing today. Very close. Not quite, but thank you for getting rid of that category. It'd been sitting around like an old
3-4
fish,
weeks.
starting to smell a little bit
Old
after
milk.
a couple of weeks. But we got through at least before the end of October. We have Don't Do This coming up next, Woodsy. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to reach into the archives and give myself a Don't Do This
I like this.
when we come back. So that's next.
I need you to explain to me what I saw yesterday from the official account of the San Diego State Aztecs.
Oh, I like that. All right, let's go. Both of those coming up. Right now, let's get a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't do this.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this.
Do not tweet that.
With Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Discover a greater variety of music stations than ever before, from country love songs like
Dan and
Tequila
Shay.
by Dan and Shay to
Yes.
K-pop, even yacht rock, everything in between. Download the free Odyssey app today. All right, I will start us off today. Story from this weekend: the Kansas City Chiefs visiting the Washington football team. And for once, it's not actually the Washington football team that's a mess, although they did kind of make a mess. I saw they were having a day to honor Sean Taylor, who obviously passed away tragically, and they were doing the whole honoring, but they kind of messed it up as well. First of all, they put the logo for the memorial right on the sideline where all the VIPs were supposed to be standing.
They had it fenced or
roped,
off.
a little bit, but that led to this incident, which is the real DDT of Jackson Mahomes, brother of Patrick, who continues to make headlines in a way that can't make his brother too happy. A few weeks ago, he appeared in TMZ because he dumped water on
That
a
guy's
taunting
entire family, dude.
Ravens fan. This past Sunday, though, he did a TikTok where he was dancing on the Sean Taylor memorial logo.
What an absolute
He deleted it,
jackass.
but it's like, come on, have a little respect. And the guy died.
What a
Was
jackass.
shot and killed, and they're honoring him, and you're dancing on the logo because your brother's beating his old football team.
Patrick Mahomes lives in a NutriBullet blender every single week with his fiance, with his brother, with his mother. All three. Here's him preparing to go play the Washington football team, thinking to himself, what are they going to do today to embarrass me, my brand, my name, themselves? Every week.
Is he heading toward a future of Aaron Rodgers where it's like,
I don't talk to anyone.
I just can't talk to anybody anymore.
Honestly, the job is hard enough. The job is hard enough. And then you have to worry about what your buffoon brother was tweeting and dancing on Sean Taylor's proverbial, not grave, but his memorial.
Right. He did tweet out Jackson an apology, sincerely apologized for accidentally being on the Sean Taylor number 21 at FedEx Field. We were directed to stand in that area, by the Washington football team. I meant absolutely no disrespect to him or his family.
Very interesting. Now, please, I'm asking in advance, Aztec fans, do not attack me. I'm simply asking the question. Ben explained it to me via text yesterday because I sent it to him. I said, this would be a good don't do this tomorrow, because my initial reaction was, oh, no, baby, what is you doing? Don't. This isn't something that you want to do. It seemed a touch embarrassing at the time and really like a touch. Here's the thing. San Diego gets called Little Brother all the time, right? Little Brother. And I think it bothers us. I think it does. I think it bothers people in San Diego from San Diego.
We crave respect.
Yeah, of course.
A little attention from time to time from the sports world.
So this, to me, just screamed insecure little brother. So yesterday, San Diego State Aztecs official account tweeted out, Aztec fans college game day coming to Southern California this Saturday. Let's show the nation who's got the best football team in California. Bring your SDSU signs to the 6 a.m. show before the Oregon-UCLA game. If you plan to attend would like a pre-made sign, email the marketing at SDSU. And I went, oh. And it didn't make me go, I wasn't outraged. I didn't flip the table over. I just went, ooh, oh. Is this a good look?
Is it a bad look?
Yeah.
Well, let me...
First of all, I went through the replies. And there's a lot of alumni going, come on, man. This is embarrassing. I went here. I'm proud. Paul, you're an alum.
Yeah.
Embarrassed? A little embarrassing?
A little
embarrassing.
If it was like... I'm trying to think if it was better if it was like BYU versus New Mexico or something, like two schools that you hate and you're just going there to troll them.
To troll a little bit?
Maybe, but it's not really. Other than the regional stuff, there's really no bad blood with either of those Pac-12 schools.
No, and I think it's just...
It just kind of looks small time.
It did. That's what I felt. It felt like something a little brother would do. I don't know.
Well, let me give you this. First of all, there's not a lot of great choices this week. There's no there's no matchups between two ranked teams, I believe, in college football.
No.
It's not like Oregon UCLA is some unbelievable, significant matchup in the Pac-12. It's not.
Right.
So San Diego State fans thought, is there a chance that ESPN, we're ranked, Air Force is just outside the top 25, it's a service academy, going up to Colorado Springs, that would be a cool story. Is there a chance we might finally get featured on a national stage in college football? So I think some people got excited. They were disappointed when they ended up choosing UCLA, which, obviously they're not having.
No.
They're kind of disappointing at this point, and they're thinking, how do we get some attention for our program?
So it's a marketing.
Yeah, and I think they saw the example. So Washington State, where, my wife went, and they always wanted to be on College Game Day, and they would never go up to Pullman. It was out of the way. Their team just wasn't good enough. They saw one of their alums. They'd pass it around. They'd have that flag in the background waving in every College Game Day show. They did it for over 100 straight College Game Days for a decade. And finally, they went. And I was there, and it was a really cool moment for the school, for the fans to get involved. And I think it would be great if San Diego State could get that on College Game Day. Now,
so you're saying only 99 more?
Maybe showing the signs is a way to get some attention. A new stadium next year, if the team is good next year, would be a great time.
Sure.
I think you want it at home. It would be fun if it was at Air Force, but it would be really fun to have ESPN to have them come to San Diego next year for that new stadium. But they only go for good matchups with good teams.
Right.
They don't do it when you're 2-4 and playing New Mexico.
And I see that point.
Yeah.
And I any chance to, I guess you take any chance to get your name out there. Now, if somebody wants to go to that, if you're going up anyway and you want to hold up a Ben and Wood sign, I'll give you $100. I'll Venmo you $100 to hold up a Ben and Wood sign. So now I'm one of you. I'm asking for your attention as well. I think that'd be awesome to have a Ben and Wood sign at College Game Day.
Perfect.
It's not going to do anything for us.
No, but
it would look
we
cool.
literally have a cardboard cutout of Ben right there.
Yeah, there's Ben.
Just
perfect for college. They
hold that
love
up.
cardboard cutouts on that show.
Yeah.
Have
You
that,
gotta sit out
hold
for
it up in the background.
18 hours camping out to get a front
If you're
row
going
spot.
up and you want the cardboard cutout, we will give it to you.
I mean, they got dragged pretty good yesterday, which that made me feel bad. I don't want to see them get dragged. It just felt a little bit like, hey, we're not even at that game. They have a game against Air Force. They can focus on that, but it's a marketing idea. But again, you said the guy from Washington State went to 100.
Yeah, well, the flag went.
They
They pass it around and they go to wherever it was. There might not be a Washington State alum. Someone would get there, make sure that flag was seen on television every single time.
That's a good bit.
It was good viral kind of promotion for the school.
But it's going to take more than just going up to UCLA
once. Yeah, good point. All right, finally, I am turning back the clock 20 years to give myself a DDT. I've never really reached into the archives, but 20 years ago, you might remember a famous, debatable sports story. You remember Casey Martin?
Oh, yeah.
The golfer who had the withered leg. It was it's called Klippel-Trenaunay-Weber syndrome, and he was a good enough golfer to make the PGA Tour, but he couldn't walk the full 18 holes. He needed to use a cart, and that was against PGA Tour rules. He went all the way to the Supreme Court, and he actually won the case. Now, it turned out not to be a huge win because he didn't keep his card and he wasn't on, and then the leg got too bad that he couldn't continue to really golf at a high level.
So sad.
And I remember back in the day, I was doing a show with our colleague Chris Ello, and as a golfer and someone who just hadn't lived enough, I took the side of walking is part of the game of golf.
Oh, boy.
And given 20 years of perspective and living life, I feel really bad about that. Why would you ever argue against this guy's opportunity to live his dream and play on the PGA Tour just because he had to ride in a cart? Yeah, I don't want to see every PGA Tour golfer riding around in golf carts all day long, but yeah, I should never have even thought about saying that this guy who has overcome so much just to get the opportunity to play on the PGA Tour should then be denied that opportunity.
Yeah, it wasn't because
he can't. It's not like you didn't even carry your own bags. You got caddies. You got anything.
It wasn't because he was lazy.
No, it wasn't because he was lazy at all.
Me out there
and Casey Martin. Just the update why I was thinking of it this week. He went on to become the Oregon golf coach. He's won a national title. He's had a really successful career in golf. This week, he had his right leg amputated just above the knee. Just had gotten so bad. So, hopefully now the prosthetics are even better than they were. Hopefully he's out of pain and, I felt bad, though. Gave myself a don't do this for saying he shouldn't be allowed to ride a cart 20 years ago.
You are a monster.
I was a monster. I was 25 years old and didn't know anything about anything. Chris was right. He argued, just give him the cart. I'm like, no, it was
this guy?
I had just finished my college golf career, walked every step, 36 holes a day sometime, and I was like, I was tired. I'd be tired after walking 33 holes, and that was part of it.
How are your legs? Are they good? They hold up?
Yeah, they held up. So I don't have a debilitating disease like Casey did. I got that. I'm giving myself the don't do this already.
If I had known this, don't know that I would have signed up to work with you. I really don't. That meeting at the Regal Seagull, if you had told me,
no offense.
I would have said I can't
No
do
offense
that.
out there. 25-year-olds, you don't know anything.
Yeah, you know nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
if you knew that you knew nothing, that would be something, but you don't.
Yeah,
you know
just don't.
nothing.
You just don't. And that's don't do this for a Tuesday.
Oh, what a monster.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
We're going to catch up with one of our friends from St. Louis, Bernie Miklas from 590 The Fan. Mike Schilt, why was he let go? Now a candidate for the Padres job?
Holy Schilt. I have come to the decision, I said it yesterday, I don't really care who they hire. I just want to make sure there are good bits in it. Whether it's Ron Washington, he's full of bits. We'll have bits for days with him.
Absolutely.
I want to do a segment with Mike Schilt called Bullshilting with him. Let's shoot
I love the name.
Shoot the Schilt.
Shoot the Schilt?
Every Friday with manager Mike Schilt. Yeah, Ben and Woods, we're going to shoot the Schilt coming up next with your manager of the San Diego.
Talking Schilt.
I want the next manager, there has to be a bit in it for me. That's the only thing that's going to make me happy.
Padres have lost 5 in a row. They're really playing like Schilt right now.
Deep Schilt right now.
Holy Schilt.
Oh, God. Please.
So we'll get some inside scoop from Bernie coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Smart Investing. Tune in Saturdays for the Smart Investing Show, 8 a.m. on 97.3 The Fan with Brandon Chase Wilsey. Call in for investing advice if you missed the show. Listen to the Smart Investing Podcast for the latest and greatest investing news and tips. Smart Investing, 8 a.m. Saturdays on 97.3 The Fan. All right, I love the idea. If Mike Schilt is hired as the Padres manager, we do a weekly segment called
Shooting the Schilt.
Shooting the Schilt.
Yes.
Holy Schilt. Now, should he be the guy? What happened?
We're about to talk to a St. Louis radio host. I hope we're not stealing.
What happened? Maybe they already
bits.
had all these bits in St. Louis and we just didn't know about it. Joining us right now on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Always love it when he comes on our show from 590 The Fan in St. Louis. Bernie Miklas is back with us. Bernie, good to hear from you again.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys, but let me throw to you one of the things I used when the Cardinals weren't playing well. They didn't play well for many stretches last season until getting hot late, So I would say something to the effect of like, well, this team is really up Schilt's Creek.
Every pun he's got to be like, you know what? I'm going to change my name to Jones. I'm now Mike Jones.
Don't shilt the bed.
Yeah, stop shilting the bed. It's too fun.
Yeah, there's another one. Thank you. There's another one.
Because Bernie,
absolutely.
We're all we all probably have foul mouths except for Ben. We're hamstrung by the FCC. We have to take any chance we can get to, work one in. Now, this news came down the other day, Bernie, and I was shocked. I really was. I mean, watching that team, one of our dear friends, Katie Wu, covers the Cardinals for The Athletic and is just phenomenal at what she does. And we talk to her all the time. And I'd always kind of, bust her chops a little bit about the Cardinal way and this and that. And it seemed from the outside looking in, what a perfect fit for that organization. What was the reaction in St. Louis, and what was the impetus behind all this?
We were all stunned. They ended the season, well, not in the wild card game, but they ended the season with a great September, 17 wins in a row and very explosive offense. It was all clicking. The team morale obviously was great. But sort of behind the scenes or under the surface, there was a lot going on, and frankly, a lot going on that we didn't know about. And that includes me, and I always kind of get my nose in there and find out a little bit of this stuff at the very least. But there was a lot of tension behind the scenes. Schilt wasn't getting along with coaches, and the hitting coach, Jeff Albert, seems to be a particular sore point. Schilt was, look, all managers push management to go get help and all that, but there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And, the sourcing I've done on this, it seems pretty obvious that Bill DeWitt, the owner, and John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations, thought that, Schilt, for lack of a better term, crossed the line with a lot of his communications with them about needing help. I mean, Tony La Russa told me many times when he was here, he says, look, you're going to have arguments or disagreements about what the team needs and what you want as a manager. And, you air it out and you state your case, and then a decision is made. And once the decision is made, you move on, because after all, they run the team. You run the dugout. And, Schilt just wouldn't let up. And I think some of it got really caustic. Then there was, this management team has always liked analytics, but they want to take it deeper next season. And Schilt objected to that and resisted that. And then there was also a matter of informal contract talks. It never reached the actual official contract extension talks, but the overture was made, hey, we should probably sit down, blah, blah, blah. And Schilt basically kind of went, I don't know. And they were just taken aback by that. So when you added it all up, he was pushing back on analytics. He wanted to fire a coach that they actually like a lot. He kind of expressed indifference to a contract extension. And, my read of the situation, then I'll end this answer. Sorry about this. My read of the situation is that Schilt, has done a really good job in 3 years, and they made the playoffs all 3 years. And I think he sort of assumed that gave him some kind of power or some kind of muscle that he could then flex to get what he wanted. And frankly, guys, I think he just really miscalculated. I think he really overplayed his hand.
Interesting. Talking to Bernie Miklasz from 590 The Fan in St. Louis about Mike Schilt. And what you're saying, Bernie, is probably music to the ears of a lot of Padres fans. They had a good organizational soldier, Jay Stingler, who took bullets for the front office and his players, and then took the ultimate in getting fired and taking the blame for a season that really wasn't even close to entirely his fault, a collapse that had many, many different contributors this last season. And Padres fans are crazy. They want a strong manager who's not beholden to a front office. But can you even hire? I mean, will Mike Schilt be hired by anyone with that attitude right now, the way Major League Baseball has been going?
Well, that's such a great question, and it's a little bit of a complicated answer from this standpoint. I think Schilt was really blown away by this, and I think it humbled him. And I think deep down inside, he would acknowledge, not publicly, but he would acknowledge that, again, he probably got too aggressive and overplayed his hand, and he didn't read the room. You got to read the room. And, Bill DeWitt and John Mozeliak have run a great organization. I mean, it's been since 2011 they've won a World Series, but they're in the playoffs all the time. I mean, they have a tremendous track record. So their opinion matters. I mean, you don't tell them, what the organization should do. That's really not your place. And some fans here would argue with me about well, we don't want a puppet as a manager. Nobody's saying that the manager should be a puppet. But there are boundaries, you're not in charge. That's the bottom line, right?
God, it's so true.
But here's the deal. Schilt, I think Schilt would be a really good hire for the Padres. He's very, very smart. And, pardon me for my long distance, observations, but obviously there seemed a lot of unrest and a lot of chaos, maybe a lot of friction and tension there bubbling over, as we saw here in St. Louis in the dugout, stuff like that. Schilt has outstanding player relations. I mean, he's really good at sort of taking the pulse of the clubhouse, working the clubhouse, really communicates well with the players, every personality type. And in that case, he would be a good fit for the Padres, in my humble opinion. But it'll be interesting when A.J. Preller calls John Mozeliak about Schilt. It'll be interesting to me what Mozeliak will tell him, and I have no idea what he'll tell him. I don't think he wants to sabotage Schilt at all. I really don't. But then again, you can't sit there and if you're asked some questions about what went wrong, I mean, you can't duck the questions either, So that part's going to be interesting to me.
Well, and so now you find yourself, we're talking to Bernie Miklasz, host on 590 The Fan in St. Louis. You find yourself, as a radio host like us, we knew we were going to be in here, bandying managers' names about. You didn't think that this was going to happen to you. What are your fans saying? What are the people of St. Louis I've seen some names being mentioned out there. In your opinion, give me a couple, 3 guys maybe that seem to be a good fit for what the Cardinals want to do moving forward.
It's not going to be one of the veteran guys. Like, for example, it's not going to be Bruce Bochy. It's not going to be any other guy that's out there that's managed before and had some success. They're not necessarily looking. I don't think they're looking to go outside the organization. They would make an exception for Skip Schumacher, and I'm not saying that he would get the gig, but he certainly would be a strong contender if he's open to that. They love Skip, and Skip's got deep roots in this organization. But look, the Cardinals do believe in continuity, which may sound maybe may sound a little like a contradiction because they've just fired 2 managers since middle of July 2018. But by continuity, I mean they keep it in-house. I mean, they promoted Mike Matheny to succeed La Russa. Then Schilt, who was a great organization man, John Mozeliak had hired him to come into the Cardinals organization in 2004. No one even knew who Mike Schilt was, and then oversaw his progress through the farm system, brought him to the major leagues, made him the manager. So my best guess, or it's more than a guess. I mean, I really believe I'd be very surprised if they didn't stay in house. Oliver Marmol is a very bright young manager candidate. I mean, he managed in their system. He had great success. Communicator, analytics minded, really respected, and he's not a big name. I might have said Carlos Marmol. I apologize. I always do that.
No, you said Oliver. You said Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver Marmol. I would say he's the early front runner, but I think their first base coach, same thing, organizational guy, managed well in the system. His name's Stubby Clapp, which is one of the all-time great names.
You have to do it. You have to do it.
I think Skip Schumacher certainly is in that conversation in a prominent way. But if we sit here today, and I'm not making any predictions, but as we sit here today, I definitely think Marmol would be the front runner, but that doesn't mean he'll get the gig either. So there's a lot of affection here and a lot of fondness here for Skip Schumacher inside the organization and among the fans. I mean,
here too.
The fans here, they
love
him.
Yeah,
they love them. What's not? Like, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Does he have much of a chance to get the Padres gig?
It's not a name. I would imagine that Skip wants the gig. I really would. I know how much he likes being here. I know, he lives in Orange County. He's right up the road. I know that, and I know we all know where his roots are in St. Louis. I mean, he is lauded as one of the greats there. He's just a perfect Cardinal. I don't think he would say no to.
He has backers. He's got backers here for sure.
Here on this show and in that clubhouse. So I wonder if they will talk to him, about that. I really do, because it's one of those things, Bernie, where you look at it and you're like, hey man, we already got rid of Tingler. Is it best to just clean slate, let a new guy bring in his entire staff, whoever it may be, or do we want to keep a guy here and there, or promote Skip from within? You'd have no arguments from this show.
There's been so much talk about someone with experience managing, though, after taking inexperienced managers with the last couple of choices, that works against Skip here, Bernie. I don't know. That's a great question. Again, I'm not sure. I got one more for you. It's not baseball related. The football teams who used to play in your town are now a combined 11-1 between the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams, kind of in the torture chamber. But I've kind of been following this lawsuit that continues to proceed. Like, St. Louis is like winning against the NFL right now. What's going on there between them and Stan Kroenke and the NFL?
It's really a great story. I mean, and long story short, I mean, the NFL's sweating. I mean, the owners are sweating. Roger Goodell's sweating. And this, believe me, this is no homer talk here. Anyone can dig around on Google and, enter search terms about this suit, and you can see exactly where it stands. I mean, the NFL's getting defeated at every turn. All their legal maneuvers. I mean, just getting absolutely shut down. And everything they try fails. And owners have been deposed, and now the judge has ordered several more owners to reveal all of their financial records, and they refuse to do it. So last week he basically fined them and also threatened them with contempt. So a lot of the secrets will be spilled for all to see about how the NFL conducts its business, especially this relocation, which was a shady process. I mean, totally corrupt. If you have relocation guidelines, you got to adhere to them. They didn't do it in this case. They looked the other way and did what they wanted. So if this thing goes to trial, which would be, I think, tentatively in January, the NFL is just going to have to put a lot out there and expose themselves to things they never wanted, including, deep financial records that would tell us the whole story about what these people are making, not only in football, but in their other business interests. I think St. Louis is really well positioned to win this thing if it goes to trial, but then there's the matter of the settlement. Now, Mike Florio and others keep floating this idea that they'll just give St. Louis an expansion team to make it all go away. I'm very skeptical of that. I mean, I'm not ready to embrace that. I know it makes for good talk, right? And in fact, I'm really bad at my job in some ways because I don't want to manipulate the fans here. I just don't want to give this a lot of credence. It's a really easy thing to do. I could go in there 5 days a week and talk about this, but I don't want to get people's hopes up. I just think it's wrong. So it is interesting that that's kind of out there floating around, but to this point, I think it's just, floating around. I don't know that there's any substance to it, but it is interesting, I got to say.
Bernie, really appreciate it. As always, you are an awesome guest. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
Bernie Micklus from St. Louis on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline.
Phenomenal.
Save money the right way.
Phenomenal.
With Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Great insight on Mike Schilt. That lawsuit, we haven't really been following because in San Diego, we don't have the same legal standing that St. Louis did. But what could come out from that is about, Dean Spanos and the Chargers moving. Could be, revelation in that trial as well. Quickly, before the top of the hour, let's get a check of traffic right now. Oh, let's not do that. You're absolutely killing me. I've got Woods and Paul both.
He gave you the traffic sign like 15 minutes,
and then I went too long because I get this
diatribe.
It's such a funny thing. Paulie's like one-handed driving on the wheel as the sign. Throw to traffic, and when I do it, and it's like, no, you can't do it.
Traffic's a
It's
minute
too late.
long. We don't have enough time.
We don't.
Just play Kelly laughing, and just play the open, and then Kelly laughing. Can you do that?
We don't have enough.
From the Premier
Here we go.
Buick GMC of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family. Here's Kelly Danick.
There we go. And that's what the roadways are looking like right now. We'll come back. We've got 1 hour left. We've got a Rindle report ahead with some headlines, including Monday Night Football last night. Really good game in Tennessee last night. It was actually a fantastic one. Get to that coming up as well.
Dude, I got a story about our local baseball team.
Oh, good.
Oh, something new that we haven't even gotten to. Also, a tweet I saw over the weekend from a prominent baseball writer accusing the Padres of being arrogant. Is there truth to that?
I'm into it.
I want to discuss what we saw. So we'll do that in our final hour coming up. Stay tuned. Ben Woods, don't go anywhere on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.